and welcome. My name is Errity Green and this is Wise Woman Oracle and Tarot. And today I am bringing you a pick a card reading on your soul's mission for Earth. So I'm very excited to share this one with you. Of course, if you find you like this reading, I encourage you to like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new video pops up. And if you want to get to know more about me and my work, you can check out those details below or at erritygreen.com. Of course, I also have another YouTube channel now, Psychic True Crime. So for those of you who might be intrigued by that, you can check out that as well. So from here forward, I will place a picture up of your 3 card piles to choose from today. Okay, card pile 1, your soul's mission for Earth. So the very first thing is you're bringing the collective, you're bringing us into new territory, new vision, new paradigm, new consciousness. Through your sharing of your truth, through your sharing of your voice, through your sharing of your journey, of your process, but this feels especially related to knowledge, wisdom, your particular point of truth, or your particular space of awareness. Whatever it is that you're sharing is supporting people to step into a new place within themselves, a newfound maturity, a newfound evolution of themselves, and a newfound paradigm and consciousness. Through you sharing what you uniquely share, and it might be something that is different or unorthodox, but whatever it is that you share, you are bringing people into the next stage of human evolution. How exciting. So right off the bat, your soul's mission for Earth is supporting the greater evolution of humanity, of the greater consciousness, of paradigm, of life on Earth itself. So you came here as a paradigm bringer, you know, a new Earth keeper, someone who is going to be a pioneer and trailblazer for the new age, for the next chapter. And of course, some of these are terms with their own set of connotations. All of it's very subjective. If you're here and you're watching, I'm assuming we have like-minded awareness to a degree such that we understand each other when I use these terms. But I feel like you are helping humanity enter newfound territory, entering the unknown, something a little bit different than what we've experienced in the past, something truer. And I think it has to do with your voice. So some of you, it's through your creative expression. Some of you, it's literally through your voice. So that's writing, speaking, teaching, healing, communicating in some way. For some of you, that's your artistic endeavor or your craft or your art. And so through your dance, through your song, through your music, through whatever, you're supporting people, your performances, you're supporting people to sort of upgrade their consciousness, step into a greater awareness. So very much, again, that pioneer, that trailblazer energy. Let's see what else is coming here. Yes, through you leading by example, but also through inspiration specifically, you are supporting people to say yes to their bigger visions, to say yes to their bigger dreams, to say yes to what it is they came here for, to say yes to embodying and putting their feet into the shoes of their legacy. Like, you are here to help people say yes, and a lot of it is through inspiration. So perhaps through the sharing of your voice, through your written communication, through your blogs, your books, through your videos, something similar to this, or through whatever creative expression or art form that you offer, through your voice, through your platform, through who you are inspiring people to say yes to their bigger dream, to say yes to their bigger vision, to move toward what calls them. You're supporting people to step into their higher calling. And what that does when we step into our higher callings, we position the collective to be able to make that upgrade, to step into the new frontier. As each of us do this individually, we bring about that shift, that change, that transformation collectively. So you are supporting the bigger dream by supporting the people at the individual level to personally step into that bigger dream. And as more and more of us step into that bigger dream, that higher calling, that greater creative expression, that true legacy, as more of us do this one by one by one, it creates a cultural shift, a collective shift, something that transforms life on Earth itself, consciousness itself. You're supporting people, inspiring them to say yes to their vision, say yes to their dreams. Some of you might very well work directly with people in that way. This is not going to be the case for all of you, because I very much felt inspiration in the beginning such that you may not directly handle it, right? You might not directly be involved, and yet through your work, through your performance, through your art, through your craft, through your creative expression, you inspire people. And even through your journey, through them observing your journey. But Some of you might be directly, explicitly involved with people and supporting them on their path and their journey for their personal, professional aspirations, supporting their greater legacy in a more formal or even professional way. So that might be the case for some of you. So that could take the role, that could play the role of coach, therapist, healer, or even something like a mentor or a guide. Some of you might do that more directly as a counsel or something like that, or acting as counsel or acting as a counselor in that way, but that's not going to be the case for all of you, because inspiration felt relatively indirect at first, but then it was offering this other potential as to what that could look like. Oh my gosh. You help people recognize what they are worth, that they are inherently valuable. You don't let people settle for less. And again, this is, for many of you or most of you, it's indirect, meaning you inspire people to really own their value, to own their worth, to push beyond their limits, to break through their upper limits, to break through that upper glass ceiling. You support people to see bigger, to think bigger, to go bigger, to break through to the next thing, right? To break through their own conditioning, to, again, not settle for less, not settle for small, not settle for limitation. Like, to not assume a less than life, meaning, of course, this is their own subjective belief, and I don't mean like they believe that they're less than or whatever, although that's probably often the case, right? What I mean is, you help them not settle for less. You help them realize that they can achieve more. You help them see that they don't have to choose the lesser relationship, the lesser path, the unsatisfying, unfulfilling choice, unfulfilling job, unfulfilling home life, whatever. They don't have to choose it, that they can choose more, better, bigger, different. You help them see that more is possible for them, that there's more available for them. You help them break through those limits and recognize their enoughness, their own inherent value and worth. You support them with that capacity for greater self-love, and to say, actually, I think I deserve more than this, or I know I deserve more than this, or I want more than this, and it's okay. Like, even help them justify that they can have more, they want more, and then they can pursue that path. So you help people step into their higher calling, step into their worth and value, and make the choice that honors their inherent worth as opposed to settling for less. Let's see what else here. Your soul's mission for planet Earth. I feel like you are bringing like-minded, like-hearted souls or beings together. I think that's part of it. Through your walk, through your journey, through your path, through your voice, you're able to connect with the right people at the right time to build a community of some kind or a network. So these might be other, we could say, quote unquote, star seeds or whatever. But regardless of what you resonate with when it comes to those kinds of terms, again, it's like you bring a like-minded, like-hearted community together. You inspire these kinds of people to come together, to lock arms, and to move forward and to do this work even together. But there is something else here. It's almost like bringing, I do get a starseed kind of energy here, where it reminds me of sort of bringing the template or blueprint from your planet, so to speak. And even if you don't believe in that, it could just be your soul's blueprint, what it sees, as a visionary, what it would like to see for planet Earth, to when it comes down here, to be able to help bring that to life and bring it into greater manifestation. So there's something here about sort of installing that blueprint and template for Earth, or supporting Earth to upgrade to that template based on what it is that is true, is possible. There is something else here, though. Your soul's mission for planet Earth. I think many of you also wanted to get to know the human experience and the human condition, and you wanted to gain some level of intimacy with the human condition. What else is here? Your soul's mission for Earth. Again, for card pile 1, with this final card here, I am feeling a lot of quote-unquote starseed energy. If you don't subscribe to that, you don't have to. You can just sort of trust or take the kind of traits and qualities that I'm speaking to. You act as a guide. You act as a leader. So the other ones were kind of examples, smaller subsets of you, minority viewpoints of you, but the greater collective piece here is that you act as a light in the dark for humanity. Humanity still is a very, very young planet, still very young civilization, still very young in its consciousness and its awareness, and that's just the truth. As advanced as we appear, we are more like preschoolers or kindergartners, and you come here as a light to show people the way, to show people how it can be. You're a light to show people the way, a light to guide them out of darkness into light. You show them sort of right path, the right way, You're able to, and not that there's anything particularly right, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying when I say that, such that you can support people out of what isn't true to what is true, you know, from conditioning to truth that's from the heart, from the wisdom, from the soul. Very much acting as a guide, very much supporting humanity into its higher potential, into its highest potentials, very much supporting the greater collective shift and transformation to happen upon planet Earth based on that, or at least as a result of that expansion of consciousness and awareness. Very much a light in the dark. Many of you will play the role of guide, teacher, wisdom teacher, medicine man or medicine woman, mentor, coach, some kind of leader, some kind of influencer. Now, all of you aren't going to play those roles or wear those hats, but many of you are. And if you're not doing it in a formal or professional way, you're likely doing it in more subtle ways, informal ways, just being you, and maybe even sharing on social media or sharing it with your friends or whatever, but you might do it more casually, but this is still very much a part of your role. I feel like many of you, though, are meant to sort of bring this into a more formalized role for yourself. That your higher potential would be to sort of take up space and become an authority, we'll say, on a lot of this, and to be able to create as big of a platform as you can to be able to share your knowledge, your wisdom, your truth, your vision. So card pile 1, if this resonates for you, I encourage you to like, subscribe, do press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new video pops up. If you want to get to know more about me and my work, you can check out the details below or erritygreen.com. Thank you, card pile 1. Okay, card pile 2, your soul's mission for Earth. Let's see what we have here. There was something that came to me as soon as I turned the cards over earlier, and of course it's been a while, so I would like for that to return. Your soul's mission for Earth. One minute. Okay, card pile 2. It took me a moment of contemplating with your cards. I wanted the original message to come back. Not that I have to force it, but sometimes I have to create this space for that message to return. So that's what I did. So I feel like card pile 2, your mission for Earth is to support people to a greater level of personal empowerment, for them to discover greater personal power, for them to recognize that they are, quote unquote, in control. Now, I don't personally believe that we are in control as much as life, God, Great Spirit, Cosmos, Universe is in control. I feel like there is a co-creative element there. With that said, you are meant to help people call their power back, to put the reins back in their hands, and to support them to walk with sovereignty. So there's something here about personal empowerment, personal power, and sovereignty, and also helping people trust the challenges of life. So there's something here about helping people see that the challenges of life aren't so much about deterrence or hindrance or limitation or bringing about a sense of smallness or defeat. I feel like you help people see, or at least eventually you might even be helping people come out of defeat, but it's a matter of helping people recognize that the challenges of life aren't meant to deter people or limit them or bring them into a place of defeat. It's meant to empower them. These challenges of life are meant to help them grow in their own, within their own selves. It helps them grow their strength, their conviction, their endurance. It's kind of like this. When we start going to the gym, or we start some kind of personal fitness routine, at first we feel very weak. We feel very defeated. We walk into the gym and we know we're going to be so sore the next day and even sorer the next, and we feel relatively weak because we're in a lot of pain when we leave. It's a struggle, it's a challenge to even get through the routine. We can barely hold up, we're kind of either gasping for breath or we can barely do that last pull-up, whatever it is, but it's a challenge, it's a struggle. Now, we recognize when it comes to personal fitness and going to the gym that of course that's not meant to make us weak. Of course it's not meant to make us feel defeated. But when it comes to the great challenges of life, many of us assume it's a setback or it's a problem, or that we are intended to remain maybe victims of challenges. When, just like the gym, one day you find that you go there and it doesn't hurt so bad, and you can manage your breath, and you're actually significantly stronger, and you can do many more reps, and you feel victorious. And that's what the challenges of life are meant to do for us as well. They're meant to help us grow in strength, grow in conviction, grow in our healthier, stronger sense of self. They're meant to strengthen our egos even, because the ego is purposeful and it's meant to be used. We want to strengthen that ego, though, so that it's not too weak, such that anyone and everyone can just come in there and take what it wants. But it's not too strong to where it's, again, impinging and then pushing and domineering other people. So there's something of a strong ego that is also sort of humble, we could say. A grounded ego, a strong ego, a healthy ego. So you're here to support people. Your soul's mission for Earth is finding their own personal empowerment, freedom, and sovereignty. To come into a place of wisdom to where they're, again, able to come into the stronger sense of self that, again, isn't too weak on this side, but isn't too domineering on this side, so it's sort of just right. It's interesting because even with this bigger message or sort of more collective message, I'm definitely getting this smaller message. This part may not resonate with everybody, where it has to do with coming from a family of codependent people or dysfunctional family, where it's almost like everyone sort of took from each other, and or no one's needs were considered or honored. It was like, in order to survive in these families, you had to be boundaryless, and you had to be willing to be taken from, and you often weren't given anything in return. And I feel like, so a lot of the people that you might end up supporting or serving or acting as a guide for, and again, a lot of this energy is going to be about how we support or help others, because your soul's mission for Earth is often your contribution, your service. So, even more frequently, we walk this path, and then we're in a position to help others. This very much might be your history. But on the path of healing, on the path of growth, on the path of evolution, the person who came from this kind of family is able to grow a stronger sense of self. They're able to develop some conviction and awareness around who they are, what they want, what their needs are. They develop their own voice. They begin to assert their own voice. They begin to take up space in the room. They begin to honor their desires and their greater dreams and their greater sense of purpose. And slowly and surely, they are adding sort of this solidness, this level of solidity to their being. And I know this is a deep one, but this is what's coming through, and a lot of it has to do with relationships, meaning that codependency or that weakness of kind of giving it all away or becoming a martyr or a savior or something like that. And I would imagine that from your path in life, you're then positioned to help other people with gaining that solid sense of self, that sense of empowerment, that sense of personal freedom and sovereignty. So your soul's mission for Earth is supporting people to grow healthily in their own selves, in their own egos, to be able to walk with power, strength, and conviction. I get the energy of a lion who knows its strength, who knows its value, who doesn't question its power. It doesn't abuse its power. It doesn't go hurting for the fun of it. It is not a predator. I mean, in nature it is a predator, but you know what I mean? This is someone who just owns their own strength, and they sort of walk with prowess. And they know when to give and when not. They know when they have something to give and when they don't. They're not giving it all away, and they're not hoarding it all to themselves. There's this beautiful balance. When we are operating from the place of our personal power, we're able to very easily find that balance. When we're not, we tend to, again, when we have a weak ego, we either sort of overgive or we don't give it all. So let's see what else wants to come through here. I also do find, for a lot of you, again, very detailed, and this might not be for everybody. You guys have to let me know. These are very specific examples. But many of you, after you walk this path or whatever, ultimately, eventually, you do find a community or a family or a tribe or whatever you might call that or term that, that really resonates for you and matches with you. And it's like a soul tribe or soul family that doesn't take from you and doesn't ask for more than you can give, is happy to give to you, is happy for you to receive, wants to give to you also, and a part of your path, your journey personally, but as well as how you're meant to serve and support other people. And I think a lot of your support and what you end up doing is through your own personal journeying. Perhaps there's a lineage healing here, a generational healing here, a karmic cycle clearing here, where you position yourself, after freeing yourself of all of that codependency, you are in a position to develop real, healthy, fulfilling, loving, and sustainable relationships. And so that is what is going to serve the collective as a whole. So to sum a lot of that up, and we're only at the first row, but I think that I've shared like a lot of different scattered pieces, and I really want to bring it home. Through your work of personal sovereignty, personal empowerment, personal freedom, and supporting people to develop a sense of healthy ego or a strong ego, you support them just to release those old entanglements, release the old enmeshments, release the old control and defense mechanisms that ultimately support them from a place of personal power to be able to experience and share in really beautiful relationships, romantic relationships, friendly relationships, amicable relationships, colleagues, partnerships, collaborations, whatever, such that that's the imprint that is made. So the imprint is more about relationships, healthy families, healthy homes, healthy communities. What a beautiful reading, what beautiful work. It moves me, actually, just like such a beautiful thing. Is to support healthy homes, healthy families, healthy communities. I feel like you help people upgrade their relationships through their own personal transformation. You help people upgrade their homes through their own personal transformation. Their families, meaning their families of origin, where they came from, but also their current families if they are an adult with a family. You help them upgrade their romantic relationships through their own personal growth and transformation. Ultimately, you help people find themselves so that they can be themselves and share with others in relationship. So glad that that word is coming home and that we came full circle, because I really wanted to offer you something you can carry with you. So what else is here? Yeah, I already touched on this. Learning. There, we have both a boundaries and a protection card here. So that's that energy of not giving too much, not giving when you don't have it, that weak ego of saying yes, or always saying yes, or people pleasing or appeasing. That's a lot of that codependent enmeshment energy. But this can also go the other way, the flip side, where you develop too much control and you're domineering and you're intimidating and you push and force people and people have to do it your way and you demand that they listen to you. So you have to see where this goes. I mean, it's the same root cause, right? The same root origin, but it can manifest either in a weak way where it appears that you're giving it all away, a martyr, whatever, or the other way that you're pushing and forcing and putting your energy, projecting it onto other people. So you're going to have to determine where you land or maybe where other people land. But ultimately, you bring about this beautiful personal transformation and healing that allows them to come into a healthy space to engage in, again, healthier, satisfying relationships. We see, but there is a strong energy here of protection, of boundaries. So if that's something that needs to be spoken to, so I want to go ahead and speak it, however it lands, however it resonates, and of course you can share your comments below. Do let me know. But there is something here for those of you who might need to hear it, or for those of you who might be helping, or for those of you, however it is that you help, whether formally, informally, explicitly or implicitly, professionally or not. There is something here about boundaries, honoring your needs, putting yourself first, prioritizing yourself, and becoming sovereign, where ultimately you have your final say. You decide what you do based on what you want and need to do. And that's determined through connecting deeply with yourself and your own truth and your ancient wisdom. So it's not this sort of egoic, I do what I want and I do it right now, or like it's my way or the highway. It's very much this deep, grounded wisdom of you know what is right and aligned for you. And you're willing to be flexible and you're willing to honor other people, but ultimately you do what you must do for you. And that's the compass, that's the North Star. So let's see what else is here. Your soul's mission for Earth. Your soul's mission for Earth. Let me see what else is here. She talked a lot about personal empowerment, personal sovereignty. I want to see what else has to be here. Here, one moment. So you're coming into greater peace and harmony with yourself, because again, I think a lot of you, this is your path and it's something that ultimately you act as inspiration for others, or you explicitly or implicitly help others, because most of this becomes service-based when we talk about our mission. Coming into a place of harmony with yourself. You're at peace with yourself. You have a self and you're in harmony with it. You know, again, you're not too much or too little, or over here, over there. It's very much centered, it's balanced, you're in alignment. So coming to this harmonious sense of self and being able to, again, create these reciprocal, harmonious, fulfilling relationships. We already talked about this, so I'm not sure what more wants to be said here, except that you come into harmonious alignment with yourself. And that's where you make your decisions from, and that's how you move forward. And this is what helps create abundance within your relationships, within your connections, within your community, whether it be workplace, home, family. What else is here? Your soul's mission for Earth. Yeah, so there's something here about coming into your power again, holding yourself accountable. That ultimately, there's something here about leaving behind like any kind of quote-unquote victimhood, we'll say, and really coming into a place of personal empowerment and doing what you must do, like doing what it takes to get where you want to go, like really doing what it takes. So it takes some deep healing work. It takes some pretty deep diving. It takes some serious psyche excavation. Sometimes it takes support formally, mentorship, guidance, support, therapy, whatever. But it's like willing to do whatever it takes to get where you want to go. And to getting where you want to go is really just personal sovereignty, personal empowerment, personal power. There's this beautiful transformation that comes through for you, where again, you're able to sit within your own strength. And you can sit there almost with a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment because you did it. You did it. You came from humble beginnings, we'll say. For most of you, card pile 2 came from humble beginnings. And what I mean by that is it very much could have been dysfunctional, unhealthy. We wouldn't say that it served the human, although it likely, and it usually does serve the soul. You came from humble beginnings one way or another. It wasn't going to be what we leave behind those families because we're meant to bring something else forward, right? We're meant to evolve beyond our own family unit. We're meant to evolve beyond our own conditioning, our childhood origins. So very much you were meant to do so, and you do, and I feel like this is what you are then able to help others with. At the end of the day, I feel like a lot of your path, card pile 2, is very personal to you. So I do think there's a collective energy here. I think there's a contribution and service here within your own personal transformation, but it starts with you. And card pile 2, it wants to be emphasized for you specifically, is focusing on yourself and your own personal transformation before you start to give it all away. Because the whole point for you is being able to come into your own sovereignty and your own empowerment, without giving it all away, right? Because that would be adhering to the old pattern. So you very much would be sure of yourself and standing on your own 2 feet. Like that is where you want to go if you aren't already there. So much of your work, card pile 2, your soul's mission for Earth, is really about your own personal transformation that supports greater healing within yourself, and then supports greater harmony within yourself, and then you're able to come into spaces with other people, whether it be, again, community, workplace, family, tribe, whatever, where you are able to engage in really healthy, mutually beneficial, loving relationships, which that is the piece that then has the ripple effect that supports the earth. There's something too, though, about coming into your greater inner masculine. So that's the final piece I'm going to leave you with. So for many of you, that's discipline, order, structure, consistency, discipline. Did I already say discipline? But there's something here about really actualizing that part of yourself, because if you came from a family of enmeshment and codependency, you're likely weaker in that area and more available to more of those feminine energies of letting go, letting in, letting people take, or giving it all away. And again, it can show up in the other way too. We talked about the masculine, domineering, force, control, but a lot of you have that more feminine energy. And so for your life path and what you're meant to bring forward is that complementary energy as well of the masculine, where structure, discipline, order, self-parenting, a lot of those pieces of the masculine that's really going to support you to step into your highest potential. So card pile 2, that was very deep, very nuanced, very detailed. So I am curious how this landed for you, and for those of you who chose pile 2, how it resonates. You'll have to share your details below. If you found that you liked it, I encourage you to like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new video pops up. Of course, if you want to get to know more about me and my work, you can check out those details below or at erritygreen.com. Thank you, card pile 2. Okay, card pile 3, your soul's mission for Earth. So I feel like you are meant to journey, and you might already be on that journey or have journeyed, but you're meant to sort of walk this path of personal development, personal growth, personal healing, personal transformation, or evolution that brings you into a place of greater abundance, greater fulfillment, greater harmony, greater success. It's almost like you were meant to start from the bottom and go to the top. Starting from the bottom, now we're here, that kind of vibe, that kind of energy. That Drake song. But there's something about you going through a lot of initiations, we'll say, a lot of rites of passage over the course of your life, this greater heroine's journey that brings you ultimately to this greater abundance. And this abundance is probably something that you couldn't have seen coming or currently don't see coming, but it's something much bigger than you could have ever conceived of or imagined as a child. I imagine many of you came from humble beginnings. I don't know that for sure, but what I do see is that you go through a very tumultuous journey. You walk through many trials. There are many times you have to pick yourself back up and keep going. You're the box in the ring that's knocked out, stand up and you go again. You're knocked out, you stand up and you go again. And I feel like you've been on this journey of endurance, of perseverance, of breaking through again, of walking that path, sometimes even walking the path, the valley of the shadow of death, so to speak. It might feel like that, but tons of personal growth, tons of personal healing, tons of personal transformation, evolution that ultimately brings you about into this space of greater abundance. And we're talking like big abundance, big success. You're meant to be a success story, which is really cool. Card pile 3. Your soul's mission for Earth is to be a success story. And I would imagine ultimately that it inspires other people. And I think what it was about, though, at the soul level, was about that personal evolution, that personal growth, that personal transformation that then results in that. But that, showing you even and others as well, like what it takes to get there, the work required. Not when you go from 9 to 10 or 8 to 10. Like it's kind of like, well, that's kind of an easy leap, an easy jump. We're talking 0 to 1 to 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? 0 to 10. You're meant to show people that. You're meant to show yourself what's possible. There's something about your soul here, and we're talking like soul contract, again, soul mission. This might be something that would show up in your Akashic. You guys don't have to resonate with this or relate to it. It's okay if you just leave it here. But some of you, I feel like your soul wanted to experience what it was like to go from the bottom to the top, to really shift out of a lot of old karmic cycles, karmic baggage, family dealings, things that were unhealthy, dysfunctional, problematic, chaotic, ultimately not serving the human, but serves the soul kind of energy. You wanted to see what it was like to go from the other side of the tracks to the other, to go from humble beginnings to experience greater success and abundance later. But your soul wanted to see what you were capable of and also what it took. What does it take to get from point A to point B, or point A to Z? What does it really take for a human to go from 0 to 10? And I feel like each of you in card pile 3 were given the best shot energetically, astrologically, that would support you personality-wise, trait and quality-wise, to be able to complete this journey. It's not easy, and a lot of people don't complete the Fool's Journey. If you're aware of the tarot and the Fool's Journey through the tarot, you can always Google it if you're not, but you essentially start as the Fool. You're naive, you're optimistic, you're childlike innocence, and you go through the whole series of development through challenges, tribulations, reflection, loss, to really discover yourself, right? It's the hero, heroine's journey. Most people don't complete that journey, and if they do, it's, we'll say, through force, because they're not doing it willingly. They have to hit a lot of rock bottoms. They don't answer the door when God whispers. They only they only answer it when it's knocked down. And so they go in unwillingly, it's like the child that's having to be carried out of the grocery store. And so it makes it very difficult with a lot of resistance. But in your case, you were given exactly what you needed energetically, blueprint-wise, astrologically, the personality traits, qualities that would be required, so that it would ensure your success. It would ensure, and while it's never a guarantee because there is free will, right, and an infinite number of variables, it was like, this will make it most likely for this soul to be able to succeed and achieve what it's saying it wants to go from A to Z, or 0 to 10. It's more like 0 to 100. But basically, card pile 3, you are committed and dedicated. So card pile 3, you're committed to your growth more than anything. Nothing's going to stop you, and that's part of your soul's mission for planet Earth, is to complete that Fool's Journey, to complete that hero or heroine's journey, and journey all the way to the top, and then experience the fruits, the harvest, the bounty of your labor. What's the fruits of your labor? So let's see what else he is here. Yeah, it's about coming from loss and ultimately choosing your heart's desires. Ultimately choosing your heart. After having lost everything, after having done it all, after having been hurt maybe in a million different ways, after having, hit upon trial after trial, limit after limit, breakthrough after breakthrough, time and again, walking the path, climbing the mountain, journeying here, journeying there. It's like, there's even feels like tons of grief and mourning in this, because it's so tumultuous and it's so challenging, but it's also so incredibly rewarding on all levels for your soul and even for your human. It starts to see in its latter maturity, it starts to value the journey, value the path, and it starts to see that it was all purposeful and that it was all meant to bring you somewhere. And so then that energy, that awareness starts to kind of pick you up and take you with it, so it's not so hard to kind of keep trudging along, being like, when and how and why, that battle-weary feeling. But I feel like you go through tremendous loss, tremendous difficulty, challenge, pain, one way or the other, either from your childhood, either from your family of origin, or just throughout your whole life, your journey, perhaps particularly challenging. And again, it's not because something in itself was particularly challenging, but because you chose growth no matter what, and because you chose to go from 0 to 10. People who are 0 and stay at 0, there is no hierarchy, there is no judgment. People who are born at 0 and stay at 0, I don't want to say it's relatively easy, but they might hit challenges and tribulations and stuff, but they're just going to keep choosing their safe zone, their comfort zone. It's really not that hard, right? Not only healing required, you don't have to heal to stay at 0. But if you want to go to 1, that requires a big leap and a lot of work. If you want to go to 2, even more leap, work, and so on, and all the way to 10. That's the true meat here of a heroine's journey. But ultimately, it's like this beautiful transformation of self where you begin to follow your heart, follow your own path, follow your heart's desires. And I feel like this is what inspires people too. Perhaps you end up being someone, and this is likely going to be for a small minority because it's so specific, but it might land for you in another way, if not this one. You might end up even sharing it in a memoir someday. It might become one of those documentaries or movies or something like that. It might be documented on a blog, or perhaps you're able to share it in some way, or other people are observing it and they're just amazed at what you've come through and what you've journeyed through and where you're at now. So there is something here about a beautiful story that could be told, whether you choose to share it or not. But if you did, it would be something that people would really connect with. Triumph. I mean, that's really what it is, card pile 3. Your soul's mission for Earth is triumph. And to show people what's possible. When you follow your heart, and that you let that lead you, and everything else sort of falls away over time, and ultimately you're able to then manifest your heart's desires right in front of you. You experience your big vision. Okay, so card pile 3, your soul's mission for Earth. Yeah. Your whole life is you finding yourself. Your journey, it looks like you're going from 0 to 10, like toward this big vision, toward this big legacy, toward this whole success. It appears like that's what it is, but in truth, it's you finding yourself. So if you have seen Frozen 2, in the movie, I've talked about it a few other times in different readings, when it lands or connects, she hears this voice. Is it Anna or Elsa? I'm not as familiar with the characters, but the main queen, she hears her voice from afar. She thinks it's her mother's voice, if I recall correctly. And she's like, I have to go. I have to follow this voice. Like, I know inside of me I am being called, right? Her calling. And she has to listen. So she follows this voice and she journeys afar and she climbs mountains and swims through rivers and all the things, right? She has to battle all the demons and so on the way. And then ultimately, eventually, she also has to face her past, and she has to reconcile with the past, do the healing work, so on and so forth. And eventually, she finds that it was always her voice, her future self, true self, authentic self, calling her. She was calling herself forward to discover herself. So card pile 3, that's what it was about for you. Your soul's mission is to come into your greater authentic embodiment of your high self, true self, soul self. It was meant to release anything that was in the way of this greater success, this greater harvest, this greater abundance. There's something about here and coming into your bigger self and taking up more space and releasing a lot of the things of the past because they were never going to be able to deliver what you were always meant for. It just simply wasn't going to happen with those people or in that way or through those environments or whatever. So you've had to let go of a lot of things, maybe even a lot of relationships, friends, family members, but had to let go of a lot of hats, a lot of roles, jobs, careers, whatever, so you could continually find yourself. You're always shedding another layer. You're like an onion or a caterpillar or a snake. You're just constantly shedding, and you're willing to let it all go for what you know is ultimately real and true, and it was finding you, knowing that nothing was worth it. Nothing else could possibly be worth giving up your hero or heroine's journey, giving up your soul's journey, giving up what you came here for. You've dedicated yourself to your life path, to your heart's desires, to bringing this forward, and it's because it was very much imprinted within your soul, like that this is what you were meant to do. And again, you were given and gifted these traits and qualities to make it more possible, more likely, and then it's almost like you haven't seen anything else. Like, this has been the thing, the North Star, the thing that you woke up with every morning. It's the trigger, the spark that just keeps on keeping on, and making sure that everything is released that doesn't support you, and that you are able to walk away from what doesn't support you, and you look forward and you keep on moving to bring about what it is, again, that you were meant to experience and manifest. What else is here? Your soul's mission for Earth. Yeah, again, we're getting heart's desires, and to also appreciate the journey and to have fun with the journey, to flow with the journey, to make the most of the journey. Make the most of it feels like a big part of this. It's like making the most of it but it feels again related to personal growth or personal transformation, like coming into your highest potential. I think that might be what it is. Your soul's mission for Earth, card pile 3, is coming into your highest potential. That was what you've dedicated your life to. It almost makes me cry a little bit. That's what your soul's mission is. Your quest is to come into your highest potential. You came here on a quest to experience your highest potential. And card pile 3, that's important. You didn't just come here to quest, just so you know. You came here to experience your highest potential. You will get there, inevitably. There's no question. There's no doubt. It's anchored. It is meant to be. It is destined. It is fated. You will experience your highest potential. It's what you came here for, and it's what you've journeyed toward, and it's the reward. It's the automatic outcome of everything that you've done, of all the work that you've done, of all the hoops you've jumped, and all the things that the lanes that you've traveled within yourself and outside of you, all the losses that you've taken, the hits that you've taken, the times you've gotten up over and over again, even when you were feeling defeated, even when you were knocked down, you got back up again. And ultimately, what do you get as your reward? The natural outcome, the one and only outcome that was always yours, and it was to experience your highest potential. What else is here? Now, there is a note here about sort of not being thwarted or thrown off the path by more egoic desires, but I feel like for card pile 3, a lot of you, or at least most of you are aware and have been aligned with like the true focus. And maybe there's a message here to not get too thrown off path by sort of shiny lights, flashy things, or like, kind of like the false hopes kind of stuff, or at times we can just be thrown off our path because we're focusing on false promises, or we'll say quote unquote the wrong things. So there is a message here about staying true to you, staying true to your path, staying true to your heart's desires, staying true to what you know you're here for, staying true to your voice, your wisdom, staying true to that calling, that voice that calls you, like in Frozen 2, just continuing to align with that. Everything else is noise. Nothing else matters. Everything that's in alignment with that highest potential remains. Anything that doesn't goes. I feel like you know that, you've lived it, you've breathed it, and that's why it's been such a triumph for you, a challenge for you, a journey for you. But there is a message here about not losing yourself to a faux desire, like something that actually ultimately isn't real or true. It's like it's not a carrot, a carrot put in front of you, like, oh, look what you get, Don't let your ego kind of get thrown off by all that kind of stuff. Like, it's almost beneath you, so don't even bother. And I don't even want to give it too much attention. It's more of like moving toward what you've always known, what you've always followed. And it's been just something within your gut almost, or within your heart, that draws you forward. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do about it. It just happens because it's who you are. And it's imprinted within you. And so you're just following it. You don't really need anything external to you to motivate you or make this happen for you. So if anything, if something like that comes into your world, that's something to discount. Again, anything that's sort of like glamorized success or whatever, like you're gonna get what's coming to you. You're meant for something. There's no need to let something in the world of conditioning to sort of throw you off path or off center, because you start following that as opposed to your authentic alignment. What else is here? Your soul's journey for Earth, your final message here. Yeah, I feel like that might be the message. I think it's complete. You're here to come into your highest potential, card pile 3. You're here to go through, and which you've already done most of that journey. I would say at least 75% of it for most of you. So many of you who are watching this have already journeyed quite a lot. And your success, your triumph is inevitable. You are here to experience your highest potential. And I think that was your mission for Earth. So, card pile 3, if this lands for you, if you like it, I encourage you to like and subscribe. Press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me, about my work, you can check out my details below or at erritygreen.com. Thank you, card pile 3.